Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back. Welcome if you are new here. My name is Sarah Jane and I am a person who is documenting their writing journey on YouTube. I make content about trying to publish my debut novel, which I am currently calling Project Crown. So if that kind of content interests you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe because it really helps support my channel. If you are right now thinking, Sarah Jane, your energy's a little off, you are correct. I am not exactly feeling my best self, but I am so busy right now with work that I need to kind of take these opportunities when the weather is good and I look presentable to film, because I'm really not home a lot right now. I'm traveling a lot for work. So I went to Nashville, I went to Chicago, I'm about to go to Boston, Atlanta, and Philadelphia. So there's like a little break in my schedule right now to get a little filming in, and so we're gonna seize this moment. If you guys can't tell, because I don't know if you can, I am filming on a new camera. I'm so excited. So this is the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II, and I am using the DJI Mic 2. So I have used the Canon G7X for literally forever. I'll show you guys. Back when I started filming YouTube videos, I filmed on the Mark 1s. I've been filming lately on the Mark II, even though, which this is what it looks like, even though I actually had the Mark III, but last year when I was traveling in Italy, we got robbed and they took my Mark III. So I've been filming on the Mark II. It has definitely done its due diligence in being a solid little camera. And of course I love like that it flips up, like this is great so I can see myself, but I can tell it's had its wear and tear. I mean, I've had this camera for like 4 or 5 years at this point, and it's like time for an upgrade, which I did with the Mark III. But anyways, here we are. So I got a bonus at work, which love that for me. And I decided to invest in a new camera setup for YouTube. Like, don't get me wrong, I do love like, verbal affirmation at work, but I love even more when the verbal affirmation is supported through financial compensation. You know what I mean? Decided to invest part of my bonus in the new camera and the new mic, which I've been using my old podcasting mic. I bought that mic actually 10 years ago. She has been holding steady, but it's a little tough to be clunkily holding around your camera. So I decided that needed to retire as well. And I luckily work in a creative office where I have a friend in the office who keeps up with all the new technology and was like, I recommend either the DJI mic or the Rode. And I decided to go with DJI because I usually like their stuff. But anyways, I'm really excited to see how all this sounds and looks once I'm actually editing this video. It's been about a month since I finished Draft 4 of Project Crown, which Project Crown is my Greek mythological fiction novel about the Amazons. It follows the story of Queen Antiope and King Theseus and its dual POV between the queen and her daughter. So I finished Draft 4 right at a month ago, and I have let it sit, and I am now ready to start the rereading process. Now, the book is with some beta readers right now. I had a couple this round because I did change significantly one of my main characters' motivation. And so I wanted to kind of test it with some readers to see how it landed because I changed it significantly. One reader got back to me actually yesterday, and she gave me some really amazing feedback that was very thoughtful, very kind in the way that she delivered it. And it really made me consider whether or not this was the right move, because the main motivation was love, and then in this past draft I changed it to revenge. And this one reader was the reader that I was like, okay, if this is gonna land, it's gonna land with her, and it did not land with her. She hated it. So I was like, oh, this might not actually have been the right move. So I want to see how a couple more people think about it, and we might end up going back to the original motivation of the character, which is a motivation that I liked more anyways, and one that I thought like at least resonated with me. I do have a little cup of tea here, which I've been trying to drink a lot of tea lately. So in this video, we're going to be reading and seeing how I feel about Draft 4, which I'm very excited to read because it is a little bit different than the previous drafts. A lot of subplots got tied up, and like I said, one of the main characters' motivations was changed. But before we get into the reading, I actually wanted to show you all the different copies I have of this book. This was not intentional. I was supposed to just have 2 different types of copies, but I've had a ton. I think I have 4 total, actually. So I wanted to share them all in this video because I think you're going to see them throughout future videos besides this one. So I just thought it'd be nice to have a little introduction to what they all are. First and foremost, when I finished draft 4 while I was at the beach, if you guys watched that video, I think it's like 2 vlogs ago at this point, as soon as I finished my draft, I immediately sent it off to print, and I went through Lulu's, which I've talked about them before here on this channel. I'm a big fan of Lulu's, and I think because my order was so big, it did take a while to get to me. And the problem with that was my 2 beta readers both had a kind of very specific timeline. So one of them was about to go on a cruise, so she wanted it before the cruise so she could, read it on the cruise, because that was a really great time from her away from work and all that kind of stuff. And then the other one, we were going to go to Chicago together, and she works up in New York. So that was a really great opportunity for me to get her a book. Well, shipping did not work out that way. So what I did order was this, which she is stunning. I am absolutely obsessed with the way this turned out. I'm calling it Queen of the Amazons for right now. She's chunky, she's beautiful. She is at about 405 pages. Wait, no, 407. This did not come in time, sadly. So what I ended up doing was reaching out to a friend who has a local print shop, and he doesn't really do big orders or anything like that, but I was like, hey, can I just have 2 copies for my 2 beta readers who need them at the exact same time in 2 different locations? So he came through and he got me this copy, which she has since given it back to me, and it's been water stained and stuff because of the cruise, which she egregiously apologized about. But it looks a little different. The print on this just came out differently. So this one's 338 pages, same cover, but this is printed on white paper versus this is on cream paper. It's a little bit thinner looking, and just the cover is a thinner material, but he did me a solid, so I'm not complaining at all. So you might see this version, which just looks kind of different. Not super different, but a little bit different. Then I went to Chicago. I gave this to my beta reader. Then I gave the woman who went on the cruise hers. And when I got back from my trip to Chicago, my friend actually made a hardcover copy for me, which I have never seen it in a hardcover, and I was just so shocked. I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. And he just made it as a surprise. And so I will not be doing anything with this copy. This will just be a copy that is for memory's sake on my bookshelf. But I thought it was so sweet that he gave that to me. So then anyways, my package finally came in from Lulu's, and I had the multiple copies of my paperback, and then I ordered 1 copy of the spiral bound. Now, if you guys have been following on my channel for a while, you know that I love a spiral bound copy when I'm doing revisions. I love being able to just have all the white space on the side to be able to mark up and write things and flip back to, and then this is just easier to lug around and flip through than a binder, and the pages stay open versus a book. So with all these 4 different copies, what's the plan? Here's my plan. First, tea break. So my plan is I'm going to read my book like a book. This is my first time ever printing out my book like this, so I'm very excited about this. I think I've said this before on my channel, I'm a big advocate of consuming your book in different mediums, whether that is playing it back kind of like an audiobook, reading it out loud, reading it like a manuscript, reading it on a computer. These different mediums almost trick your mind into thinking it of a different way, and I have been waiting to print it in a book format just so I had a little bit something more finalized. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm keeping 1 copy completely unmarked on my bookshelf for memory purposes, and then this is one that I'm actually gonna write in. I'm gonna try to read pretty quickly. I like being able to consume it in 1 or 2 or 3 sittings. It'll definitely take me longer than that, but in a more condensed time frame than like, you know, sitting down and reading it for 2 weeks, because that way everything is really fresh. So that is my plan. I will mark up things if they stick out to me and tab it. And then what I'm going to do is, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna take my notes, beta reader 1's notes that she's annotated in here, as well as the other beta reader who is also annotating in her copy, and I'm gonna put them all in this spiral bound version. And what that does is it just condenses all of the information and puts it in one spot. And so that way when I actually start the revision process, it's a lot easier and it's a lot less messy, because I haven't done that in the past. I've had just like different spiral bound versions in front of me, and I'm like going back and forth between versions, and it got a little bit confusing and I felt like I was getting whiplash. So we're condensing everything into one spiral bound this time. Now, I do have a couple other additional beta readers who have the book. So the 2 I've mentioned so far are pretty much like my target demographic, but they're also both women who are, they're older. They're in their 40s. They are mature. They've read a lot, and they're both very familiar with Greek mythology. They've both read a lot about it and have studied it. And so I think it's going to be a really good mix of feedback regarding, is this like really a sellable book that people are going to enjoy? Plus, how does this hit for someone who enjoys Greek mythology? So those are my 2 like primary beta readers. I have 3 other ones who also have a copy of my book, and I did not give them like in-depth questions or anything like that. I'm just really curious from like a vibe perspective how they like it. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at. While they're reading, I'm also going to start my reread. So that is kind of what's going on. I feel like this was a very long intro, but I felt like I really wanted to show you guys all of my paper products, because when I opened this, guys, I thought about filming it, but I just couldn't help myself. I just like ripped open the packaging. I was just so excited to see this. It feels really surreal to see my book printed. Like I said, it's my very first time seeing it printed, and I just think it makes it feel more real. I will also say, before I stop talking, and this is gonna be my last round of dev edits. I've already decided. And then I'm going to go into line edits, because I truly feel like I could spend forever tinkering away on this book and making it like perfect. I'm not saying I'm a perfectionist, but I am very type A. And I think I could spend a lot of time, a lot of time tinkering away. And it's already been 2 years. So I am very much looking forward to my final beta readers' feedback and doing a last round of dev edits, and then going into light edits. So yes, I'm excited. I'm nervous about that decision. I think, and here's the reason why, and I know I'm still talking and it's the intro. The reason why I'm nervous is because once you pitch a book to literary agents, and if it doesn't get picked up, you can never really pitch that book again. So, you know, it's a bit of a gamble, right? But at the same time, once again, I could tinker forever, literally forever, on this book to try to get it perfect. And it's not gonna even be perfect, because once you get a lit agent, they're gonna have edits too. And so I've decided that, okay, I've had 3 very significant dev edits. I think the plot is good. I think the structure is good. I just am trying to really fine tune this last character. So I need to, you know, lean into the fact that I need to trust myself that this is a good book, and try to get an agent with it. So anyways, that's kind of where I'm at mentally with it. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I just said this and I'm going to change my mind, and I'm actually not going to do that, and I'm just going to spend forever tinkering on this. That could happen. However, I'm hoping it doesn't, because I really do want to pitch an agent and get this book going. I feel like I've spent so long on this book. And I mean, 2 years is a significant amount of time. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm sure people have worked on books longer than 2 years, right? So anyways, I'm gonna stop talking now. Welcome to my channel. And let's get to reading. I found that my commute time to and from work was perfect for dedicated time reading Draft 4. Then, in an exciting turn of events, I got to meet in IRL another author-tuber, Evelyn Black. We spent a couple hours writing and reading together, and it was so great to make a writing friend in real life and talk about our works. Hi everyone, I feel like it's been a really long time since I've checked in, and it probably has, honestly. A lot of it has to do with my health. I know I've mentioned it previously on this vlog, but I just have some stuff going on, and I don't really want to talk about it yet on this channel. Maybe I will later, but for now I don't want to. But just please know, I don't have a lot of energy right now. So it's taking me a really, really long time actually to read through my book. Way longer than my previous drafts. I just don't feel like I have the energy for it. But I got a really nice text tonight. I gave my book to one of my friends from book club to read, and I thought she would enjoy it because she is like an avid history reader, and Greek mythology like falls under, you know, history. So I gave it to her, and she wrote me the sweetest note. She said, "I finished your book yesterday evening and I'm still deep in thought about it. It was so good. I never have picked up a Greek mythology book, but now I might need to explore the genre because I loved it." And that really gave me, like, I think the motivation I needed during this time to pick up my book and keep reading. So I got to the end of part 1. So my book is divided into 4 parts, and I got to the end of part 1. So I thought I'd come on here and just give my initial thoughts. I am pretty happy with it. I've made like minor edits throughout, just like little things. I'm not doing a true line edit right now, but if like little things pop up that I'm noticing, I'm like, you know, editing them or adjusting them. And I don't think there are too many edits that are going to be needed in part 1. And I feel like that's going to be kind of the same for part 2. We'll see. But I'm really happy with it. It feels really good to see part 1 in a book format. And in this format, I still feel like it holds pretty strong for part 1. So I'm really excited about that. Part 2 is written in a way that feels like a really long chapter because it's a bit of a flashback, and it really shows kind of why Queen Antiope is the way that she is. And so I don't think I'm going to have too many edits in part 2 either, but I'm going to see if I can read this over the weekend. It is incredibly long. It's about 30 pages. But I'm excited because my friend that sent me that message, we're going to get together on Tuesday. Yeah, for dinner, and I'm going to get her thoughts, which I'm really excited about. For every beta reader, I have given them like a list of questions, things that I want them to answer. And I didn't with her. She is a friend from book club. She's an avid reader, and she specifically loves historical fiction. And so I just wanted to get just like her overall thoughts. Like I didn't want to give her like a list of questions. I just was like, let me know what you think. And so I'm really excited to hear that. So I will check back in after that conversation with you guys. And I just wanted to do a little check-in too, because like I said, it's been a minute since I've talked to the camera. Yeah, so anyways, I'll check in with you guys a little bit later. I know I look a little crazy, bear with me. I am currently in the process of getting ready, but I wanted to check in because today is going to be a day full of things surrounded by writing. I have taken the day off work and I am focusing on writing things. So I am first getting my photos taken, which is really exciting. I'm getting them professionally done. So long story short, during July 4th week, when I went to the beach, as you guys saw, after I finished my last draft of Project Crown, I was like, oh, you know, I should make an author website, even though I'm not published yet, but that way when I start pitching literary agents, there's like a landing page for people to go back to. So I started creating one, and I was really liking where it was going, and then I realized I don't really have any photos of myself. I mean, I can obviously just like take a photo of myself with my camera or my phone, but the last time I got professional photos taken was for my wedding, and I don't want to put those as my photos on my author website. I thought about doing it myself, and then because I'm a photographer by trade, so but listen, there's something challenging about being an art director and being the photographer at the same time. Like, you can have this vision, but then trying to do like the photo and the backdrop and the lighting all yourself, it's very, very tough. I've done it many times, and I just didn't want to do that this time. So I reached out to my wedding photographer because she by far has captured the best photos of me that I've ever seen. Like, I loved my wedding photos. They were amazing, and it's a testament to her work. And so I was like, hey, like, this is what I'm trying to do, you know, if you have any availability, because as a wedding photographer, lots of wedding photographers, if you're not familiar with the industry, I'm like running out of room on my vanity. Wedding photographers by trade sometimes don't shoot anything else because of all the things you can shoot. Weddings can be some of the most profitable, and so a lot of photographers save all their energy for weddings. So with that in mind, I was just like, hey, you know, this is what I want to do. Let me know if you're interested. And she was totally down for it, especially as one of her previous brides. So this has been on the calendar for about a month and a half, like 6 weeks now. And finally the day has come, which, as you guys know from me talking in this vlog, I've obviously not been feeling the best. So I considered rescheduling, but then I was like, you know, I don't think I should. I don't think like me rescheduling and punting this down the road is gonna make things any easier on myself and sort of like my goals that I have for myself. So I just went ahead and kept the date, and the day has come. So I'm getting ready now, and I'm just really excited. I have 2 outfits picked out. I'm gonna see if it's okay with her if I like film in the background so you guys can see some behind the scenes. With her, you can pick 2 to 3 outfits. I picked 2 that I really like. I had a third in mind, and I'm not gonna do it. I don't think it goes with what I have in mind for the website. I'm gonna finish getting ready, and I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. I feel like this is giving very beach chill vibes because this is like blue linen, white linen. It's very comfortable. This is not what I'm wearing for my shoot. This is just like my travel fit because I don't want like everything that I'm wearing to get wrinkled. But yeah, so this is what I'm going with. My hair, making it voluminous as I can. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pack up my outfits in the car along with some of the other like things that I want to include in my shoot, and we're gonna head on over. So I just finished my photo session with my photographer. I love working with her. She's just really creative and just really knows the style and the vibe I'm going for. It's funny, I brought 2 outfits that were more like structured, and We did an impromptu third outfit, honestly, with what I'm wearing. This like very casual. And I actually ended up loving the way the casual outfits kind of turned out more, which is not what I was expecting. So she's gonna send me, like she's gonna cull the images and send them to me in the next couple days so I can pick out which one of my favorites, and then she's gonna edit them. But here's my peanut butter sandwich. I knew I needed to bring something light to eat because like it's past 1 o'clock. So I had a great time with her. I'm really excited to see how those turned out. And I just know that they're gonna look really good. Now I'm gonna head home tonight. I am actually meeting up with a friend, and she's the one that left the comment that I mentioned on my last check-in with you guys, and I'm really excited to get her feedback and kind of what she thought about everything. And so we're gonna go into Old Town tonight and catch up, get dinner, and then just talk all things books. So I'll bring you guys with me for that too. And I thought I'd just go over some of the feedback that my friend gave me from our little chat as my beta reader. So let's see. Now this is someone who does not read Greek mythology, but she does read a lot. So she said she read it within a week, which is really good for her as like a 9-to-5 girly. She felt like the pacing was good and that I dropped little things along the way that kept it interesting. She liked the dual POV. And she really enjoyed reading Greek mythology. There were some timeline things that she got confused about, so I might take a look into that and see if there's ways I can clarify that. She agreed with my previous beta reader, which was that Antiope's arc seems a little out of character. And so she had some recommendations on how to adjust it, so I'm gonna think about that. She actually really liked the ending, which was funny, and I don't want to say what it is because it'll spoil it. She also really didn't love the redemption arc for Polixene, which is the youngest daughter of the heiresses. And she had some recommendations for that. She felt like the centaur subplot was resolved, like thank God, because if you guys have been following along, you know that that centaur subplot has been the bane of my existence. So for her to think that it's resolved, I'm very happy about. My first beta reader for this round did not feel that way, so I'm gonna probably get feedback from one more and then kind of decide if I want to like leave that to bed. When I asked her for a comparable title, she said Fourth Wing, which like excuse me, wasn't like expecting that. And the reason why is since she doesn't read a lot of Greek mythology, she thought Fourth Wing because of the vibes. So like combat, going on to missions, all that kind of stuff gave her Fourth Wing vibes. She wished one of the characters had a bigger role. But overall she was a big fan, so like everything that she kind of recommended was pretty minor. So I'm really happy to hear that. That makes me feel a lot better, that I finally feel like this manuscript is getting to a point where I want it to be. I did finish reading part 2, which I think the last time we checked in I had not read it yet. Part 2, still one of my favorite parts, and I'm still really happy with it. So I've started part 3, so I don't have a lot of edits for part 2. Part 3 I've started, I'm not very deep into it. Part 3 isn't super long, it's about that thick, and then part 4 is kind of the chunkier one of the two. So hopefully I'll get part 3 done in the near future. I have felt very motivated today from doing the photo shoot, from getting feedback, to like keep trugging along on this manuscript even when I'm not exactly feeling the best. Here's to continuing that journey. Anyways, that's it for today, and I'll check in with you guys later. Hello everyone and happy Saturday. I have some exciting news. Drum roll please. I finished Project Crown. This is draft 4, and it took me a really long time to read this. And I don't think that has anything to do with the actual work itself. I think that has everything to do with how I was feeling during this time period. As I've kind of sprinkled throughout this video, my health has like kind of been fluctuating. So it took me a while to get through this, but I also didn't read any other works. So like I didn't read any other books. So it wasn't like I was not interested in this book and I wanted to read other books. I just wasn't reading in general. So it took me a while to get through this, but now that I'm done with it, I still really, really like it. And it's interesting because I have received feedback from Beta Reader 1 on kind of some recommendations, like some developmental edits that she recommends. And with that in mind, reading this, I actually don't know if I agree. I kind of like the way I did it. So we'll see. And that's the thing about beta reader feedback, right? You don't have to always take the feedback that you're given. Like you can pick and choose what feedback you decide you want to use. So really excited and happy about that. So what are my next steps? I have 2 outstanding beta readers left. I'm going to Boston for work next week and they will be there too because we all work together. And I'm hoping to get feedback from at least one of them. Actually, I know I will get feedback from one of them because we've already made dinner plans and like we're gonna talk about it at dinner. And then hopefully I get feedback from the other one. That's the thing about beta readers. Like you hope to get feedback from everyone, but sometimes you don't. Like sometimes people are just busy or they have other things going on in their life and it's nothing personal and you can't take it personally. But hopefully I can get both while I'm in Boston. So anyways, that'll give me 3 beta reader feedbacks for this draft. And then that will really help me decide of how I want to move forward with this book. Because, and I think I've already mentioned this earlier, this is going to be my last round of dev edits. I could tinker away forever at this book and I have for a while. It's been 2 years and whatever state of perfection, like it's not gonna ever be perfect or anything like that. And so I don't want to try to make it perfect. I wanna make it to something that I'm happy and proud of. And I feel like one more round of dev edits will be fine. And then I'm going into line edits and then we're pitching. Next steps is 1, I am getting the last of my beta reader feedback next week while I'm in Boston and I'm very, very excited to do that. Then number 2, while I was reading, I made notes within this, but it is really hard to kind of like have this flat beside you while you are working on your draft. So I'm actually going to transfer all of my notes from this to my spiral bound. And if you guys have been here for a while, you know that I always have a spiral bound copy that I typically work out of. And I prefer it because these lay flat while you're editing and working on the computer. And so I really, really like it. This is the first time I've actually like read it in this format. And when I was with Evelyn last night, she kind of thought I was crazy when I said that. And I was like, listen, hear me out. I'm doing this for 2 reasons. 1, because it'll be easier for me, right, to have this laid out. But then 2, my other beta reader also gave me her copy back with notes inside. And I think my 3rd beta reader will as well. And so I can't have all these copies just laying on my desk, like looking through them while I'm editing. Like that's totally not sustainable for me. So I'm going to transfer all the notes, mine and the beta readers, into this. So I have 1 working copy and I'm going to do each of our notes in different colors. So I'll probably do mine in pink, one will be in purple, another in blue or whatever. So I know whose edits they were. And that also allows me to really go through each of the edits they made and decide if I want to transfer them into my final version going forward, because maybe I disagree with an edit they recommended. So that process though is probably going to take me a week or 2 because this is like 400 pages long. So that's number 2. 3, in terms of next steps, is I am going to reverse outline. I've done a reverse outline for every single draft I've made thus far, and it's so helpful because it just gives me a bird's eye view of everything. Next step number 4, I'm going to start working on my author website. So I got the proofs of my photos from my photo shoot with my photographer actually last night, and I kind of picked the final ones this morning. And so she's gonna go in and do some like color correction and like, you know, that kind of photography stuff. And then she's gonna give me those within the next couple days. And this morning I took time to like sketch on some paper of how I want my website to be laid out, because I've been looking through a ton of templates and I just haven't really found anything that speaks to me. Like I'm even willing to like buy one from someone to make my life easier, but nothing really suits what I'm looking for. And I don't want to do a custom design because that feels like a significant investment that I'm not willing to make at this time. So I'm going to try to design it myself. And so I sketched out what I wanted it to look like. Once she gets those photos back to me within the next couple days, I'm just going to start putting that all together, which I'm really excited about. I think it's going to be finished around the time that I start pitching. So I think the timing is going to work out really well for that. Last up in terms of next steps is I'm going to have to make some hard decisions about what my final dev edit is going to be. You know, I've received 2 beta reader feedback so far for this draft, and you know, some of it I agree with, some of it I don't, and I have to really decide like what I want to do. And it was interesting because when I first got the feedback from beta reader 1 and it was a significant dev edit, I was like, okay, yeah, I can totally see myself doing that. I'm here for it. But then when I actually read it myself, I was like, you know, I actually don't think I agree with it. I think I like the way it's written. And that's why it's so important, right? To have multiple opinions and to really decide like what works for you and for your art. So, yeah, I'm really excited to like sit down with all of my notes from all of my feedback and just really decide, okay, this is the roadmap that I'm gonna make moving forward, and then jump into draft 5, my last dev edit. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think this has been the longest, not in terms of like duration, but in terms of filming that I've made. I think this video spans like a month, which is not normal for me. I usually go 1 to 2 weeks, but like I said, just had a lot going on. So I appreciate if you've still been here watching me this entire time. And if you have, please leave me a yellow heart emoji in the comments below, and I really appreciate it. Let me also know in the comments below what you're currently working on. I honestly haven't been watching a lot of YouTube videos during this time either, because I think there's something about watching other writers work on their work that makes me want to work on mine too, right? Like, we're all in this together, and I just knew I couldn't put that kind of effort into my writing at that moment. So I haven't been watching a lot of YouTube videos, so I would love to know what other people are working on right now, so we can all cheer each other on. And I'm hoping in the next couple weeks I start feeling better, and then maybe by that time I will feel more comfortable telling you guys kind of what's going on. Maybe not, we'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna put that kind of pressure on myself. But anyways, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because it really does help support my channel, and I'll see you guys in another one. Bye.